Hi, I'm back. Tonight I'd like to show you a little trick that you can use if you just want to wait for the target to get to a certain altitude. Now with the Pro, you should wait until the target gets at least 30 degrees in altitude so that you don't find the ends of the observatory blocking you. The other side of the coin, 30 degrees altitude, is probably the lowest you should image, so I don't think it's necessarily a bad restriction. So I'm going to assume that you remember that we log on, we click on Voyager 64-bit, comes up, and then we load the master script, which is what this is, okay? And I can click on this just to show. So we would just click on this, double click on that, and then just load it up, which I guess I can do, and here we are. However, if you recall a few nights ago, I tried to image this, and by the way, this is the Rosetta Nebula, and it wasn't high enough up. So I had to wait until about 10 that same night and then image. But there's actually another way to do that, and I like to go to bed early, so I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's go ahead and edit this script, which is the master script. And normally what we had been telling you to do, just double click on this and find out the target you wanted by using RoboClip and save it back to the same name. Now, we probably could do that, and instead of using start immediately, we could set a start and finish limit. So if we knew exactly when the target was going to be at 30 degrees or above, we could just put the target in here and say we knew that in 1 hour and 15 minutes it would be at the proper altitude, and we would just save that. We just do this and save it. But I want to do something a little more sophisticated, since we're sophisticated folks, right? So I'm just going to say cancel out of this. The other side of the coin is I want to show you some of the things you can do with Dragscript. Okay, so we're going to come over here. And so these are a list of commands and such that you can use in a Dragscript. And so we're talking about a timing, because we want to wait a certain length of time based on altitude in order to start the imaging. So let's take a guess that timing's the right way to go. And then you can see here that indeed there is a wait altitude. Okay, now we just click on it and we drag it close to this block right here. Now the thing that's sort of odd about this is that they always put the command at the end of the block. I'm not entirely sure, but I guess that makes sense. Okay, now we're gonna click on that, and you can see that the big issue is, well, we got to put in the RA and DEC value. Well, I forgot to write that down. But oh, we got RoboClip here. Great. Okay, so we just click on that, and we remember that, and it says right here, Rosetta Nebula. So we'll just click on this, and we'll say use selected target, and it filled in the information that we needed to move forward. Now I want to wait until altitude of 30 degrees, and maybe just to be safe, I'm going to say 31. What the heck? Okay, so what's going to happen is I'm going to put this command before the sequence command, and so Dragscript, now that it knows the RA and the DEC, and it knows we want to wait for that object to get up to 31 degrees, we're going to be able to just walk away from it knowing that we don't have to do anything more complicated than this. So I'm going to say OK. And then I need to move this above the sequence. Otherwise, as it starts to execute the sequence, it's going to go ahead and execute the sequence, and then after it gets done, it'll do the weight altitude, and that's way too late. So we're just going to make sure this is clicked on, and then we're just going to use this up arrow and move this up. And we're just going to move it in front of the sequence, okay? So right now, it's when it starts executing the sequenced image, instead of just jumping directly to sequence start, it's going to execute this weight altitude to be greater than or equal to 31 degrees for the object that's at this RA and this deck. Okay? So now I'm going to just save this back. Now, this is kind of painful because I told you not to save. I want to keep the master Dragscript kind of pristine, but sometimes it's just easier to do it this way. So you'll just have to remember the next time you use this, you'll see that it has that in there, and you'll just go in and delete it if you need to delete it. Okay, so I'm just going to say save. And yes, we already exist. We know that. Okay. So now we're going to go and close out of this because we did save it. And then, as we can tell, we didn't actually cause anything to happen here because we didn't reload it. So now we're going to come over here and say reload the script. Okay, and now we can see we have an extra line in this. And it's that line that we added. Wait for an altitude greater or equal to 31 degrees for the target that's at this RA and this deck. Okay? So now, in principle, we should just be able to go in here and run it. So let's go ahead and see if that actually works. Yes. I'm going to bring the video in. And again, the system is starting up, and we didn't make that first connection like always. Minimize this. And it says couldn't find the camera. Well, that's because the power, it didn't quite get there. But oh yes, looks like we're past that second time, so all's good. Now we should see we're at the startup amount. It's already homed. We're waiting 20 seconds for it to stabilize. Probably don't need this, but I'll change that before you guys get it. Now we're going to open the roof. And there we go. We're opening the roof. You can see the roof moving. And again, this is going to change from 1 equals off to 1 equals on when the roof is at its limit switch. And yeah, there we go. And we're going to wait full 50 seconds just to make sure the roof is open. So we're up here. All looks good. Let's see, we're at the block to open up the lens cover. Just waiting another 20 seconds. And you see the lens covers opening. Now we're at the block to skew and do a blind solve and sync the mount. And you can see the mount, or the telescope is pointing near the zenith. Okay, it was successful. That's good. So now we're going to start the block to start the session. And so it's going to wait at this point until the altitude of the the altitude of the target, or the Rosetta Nebula, is at the point where we want. Looking at it right now, I think I might add a routine where the mount gets home, because my luck is I'll probably have a beaver or something come along and build a nest in here. Probably not a beaver, but you get the point. Not best to have the telescope pointing up to the sky. So I'm sure you don't want to wait, and I'm not going to wait. So I'm going to close this out. But just wanted you to see some of the things you can do to modify the Dragscript once you get a little more familiar with what's going on. And the system's been around long enough that astronomers have gotten what they need in order to do the imaging that they want to do. So 99.5% tells me that if there's something you think you need that's not being done by the Dragscript that I presented to you, you can just go in and add it yourself. And as you get more familiar with what's going on, you'll be braver to go ahead and try that. So hopefully you got a little bit out of this, and we'll try to get more of these type of training videos out to you as we move along. Thank you. Bye.